Hello, and welcome to another 9-minute Bible study. Our starting point, 2 Chronicles chapter 30. Let's read verse 13. And there assembled at Jerusalem much people to keep the feast of unleavened bread in the second month, a very great congregation. Here's what's happening. At the beginning of the chapter, King Hezekiah decided that the nation needed to celebrate the Passover. What he did, he invited those from the 10 northern tribes, those who had rebelled against the Lord their God hundreds of years earlier, to come celebrate the Passover at Jerusalem. What the people in the northern tribes did not realize, this was their last chance to return to the Lord. The vast majority, they would squander the opportunity, but there was a remnant who came to Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover. King Hezekiah also invited those in the southern two tribes to come and celebrate the Passover. By the time we get to verse 13, it is the 14th day of the second month, and the city of Jerusalem is filled with people who are coming to celebrate the Passover from the very north of the kingdom to the very south of the kingdom. Now, before we go any further, we need to establish a point, just to be on the safe side. In Colossians, the second chapter, in verse 16, we read the following. Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink, or in respect of a holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Christ. In short, we who are believers in Jesus, we are not called to celebrate the Passover. We are called to know what the Passover represents and how it applies to Christ. But we are not called to celebrate the Passover. What the Passover is for us, it is a type of what's going to be the end time revival, the celebration of us seeing people return to the worship of the Lord. Now, for those who returned in 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verse 13, they are returning really to celebrate three separate events. In the book of Leviticus, 23rd chapter, let's start with the 4th verse. What does it say? These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at even, 6 p.m., is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. These are the first two events during what is going to be Passover week. The first on the 14th, the Passover. The second event, it begins on the 15th, the day after the Passover, and it will continue until the 21st day of the month, the next 7 days. The Feast of Unleavened Bread. So on the 14th, it is what? The Feast of the Passover. On the 15th, and for the next 7 days, it will be the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So what does this have to do with anything? Well, follow with me to the book of Exodus. And we are going to start chapter 12 and verse 5. What this chapter is, it describes from the very beginning the purpose of what would be the Passover and the purpose of what is going to be the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Let's start with verse 5. Your lamb shall be without blemish. The people had to take a lamb on day 10, separate him from the rest of the herd to make sure the lamb is without spot or blemish. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out of the sheep or of the goats, and ye shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening, and they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper door posts of the houses, wherein they shall eat. So what are we seeing here? We are seeing the children of Israel. They have taken a lamb, they have separated it. They made sure it was without spot or blemish. On the evening of what would be day 14 of the month, they will kill the lamb. They will apply the blood on the doorpost, the top, and the sides. Then we get to verse 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn of the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. Verse 13. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. So, for those who have the blood on the doorpost, what's going to happen? When the Lord passes through the land that night, the houses with the blood on the doorpost, the Lord will pass over. They will be safe. No one will die in their household. For the Egyptians, the blood is not applied. They will die in mass number, the firstborn, on the course of this night. When we think Passover, I want us to think blood. When we think Passover, what word are we to think of? Very good, blood. Now, let's go on to verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your house. So, during the feast of unleavened bread, first, yeast out of the house. There is nothing with yeast in the house at all. For whosoever eats unleavened bread from the first day unto the 7th, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. And in the first day there shall be a holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. So what do we see here? From day 1 of 7, day 15 to 21 of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the children of Israel are to eat unleavened bread. Yeast is not to be in the household. They are not to eat what we would traditionally call bread, a bread with yeast in it. So, Feast of Unleavened Bread, what is it? No leavened bread, only bread without leaven. And we'll pick up with this in the next lesson.